In this episode of Zombie Lies, we're going to tackle a subject in which there's a lot of chatter going on in the community about skill-based matchmaking. The theory is that since Advanced Warfare is a competitive focus and it's practically the Isaac to Black Ops 2's Abraham, Sledgehammer also brought skill-based matchmaking back into the public setting, much like Treyarch did with Black Ops 2 before subsequently removing it from the algorithm in the January patch for that game. Vonderhaar confirmed that skill was a part of the matchmaking in Black Ops 2 in this particular tweet that you're seeing on the screen. However, neither Michel Condrey nor the Hammer have actually confirmed that skill-based matchmaking is a part of their algorithm in Advanced Warfare. Is lightning striking twice again? Well, in order to prove this theory, I need some hard evidence. Fortunately, Activision has made it surprisingly easy for me in their FAQ section on their website with an article titled, "How Does Matchmaking Work in a Public Match?" It's a three-step process, much less than the ones to win you off alcohol. The first step is filtering games by proximity to the player. Now, this sounds like the first thing it's doing is using connection as the primary factor in matching players, but digging in a little deeper, quote, it breaks down into 4 tiers of geographical regions surrounding the player. The query starts in the tier closest to the player and expands from there if it cannot find enough matches. How big are these tiers exactly, and what are the qualifications for a tier? Well, anecdotally, we've been in those lobbies that search 50 ms ping first, then 75 ms ping, then 100 ms ping, and finally 150 ms ping before saying no games found. I'm guessing that these are the tiers that they're referring to, but it's extremely vague, just like Brittany Reiner's gender. So they're sort of basing it on connectivity, but again, not quite sure. The second step, in bold print, says filter by broad skill range. It's right fucking there. Take that list from step 1 and narrow it by skill band. Quote, a player of very high skill should generally not get matched to games where the average skill of players is very low and vice versa, end quote. That seems like it's appropriate, it's all and good until you get to step number 3. Step 3 is where you finally get put into a match with the lowest latency or ping to the host and other players. The fact that this step is after narrowing the matches by skill is complete bullshit. Connection and ping should be the number 1 and, in my opinion, the sole factor for matchmaking. This is why the community is experiencing so much fucking lag, and don't even bother with the ping bars on the scoreboard in this game. They're as reliable as a condom with a hole in it. Think about it, if 2 players are 75 ms ping away from the host, they'd be placed in the same game as one another if they have equal skill. However, they could be up to 150 ms ping away from one another. That's a difference between a 4-bar and a 2-bar. It's simple mathematics. When skill is not involved in the matchmaking equation, you'll be connected to the nearest 11 people if you're playing solo in a 6v6 game mode. With skill involved, you'll be connecting to the nearest 11 people in your skill band. These 2 sets of people are not the same, and inherently, the set of people in your skill band will almost always have a worse connection than those 11 people just simply based on latency. Now, some of you might be asking, this is great in principle, Schwantz, but how badly does skill-based matchmaking work in Advanced Warfare? Well, I don't have source code other than these dozen assembler instructions, of which one of the variables is named DW_matchmaking skill. I mean, this could be code from the ranked playlist matchmaking algorithm for all I know. There's no context here. A lot of people are speculating that this confirms it, but again, we don't have context, so I can't say for sure that skill-based matchmaking is definitely in the code. But what I can do are experiments. Now, when I was playing with Weagle, who is an amazing Call of Duty player, we were placed against a full team of professional players, including people from Optic, Envy, and FaZe. You heard that correctly. Weagle's stats are so good that when he was the party leader, he was placed up against professional Call of Duty players in the United States, even though he lives in the UK. Obviously, he'd be on a 3-bar connection at best, and why the fuck would the game put him in this lobby? You mean to tell me that there are 0 lobbies in Europe when we played? That's absolutely preposterous, although Sledgehammer conveniently left off the online player counts, probably a byproduct of the ghost town left by the previous game. Pun intended. Later, he recovered my account with obviously worse stats. Here's the first game he got in the background. A vicious medal, which is a 30 kill streak, and a lobby full of obviously worse players. I decided to then take it a step further. I set up a brand new account on Xbox and straight away joined a match of Kill Confirmed. The gameplay you've been watching in the background for most of the time is my first game on. I went 24-11 and look at the fucking players that I'm playing against. Obviously low level, obviously terrible players. I then backed out and searched for another match of Kill Confirmed as you see here. Now, all of this is in real time, just like an episode of 24. Look at how long it takes me to find a match. This is because the skill factor tries to funnel me into a lobby here of not so great players, and guess what? I get thrown back into the same exact fucking lobby. Are you fucking kidding me? How long did it take me to search to find the same exact fucking game that I just motherfucking left? I played another match going 15-16, so my KD at this point is 1.44. I back out again and search for another game of Kill Confirmed. I'm immediately thrown into this different lobby, but look at the players, all much higher levels, including 5 prestige players, including a second prestiger. The match doesn't last so long, and I pull my KD down to 1.29. The next match, there are 8 motherfucking prestigers in there. After this game, I completely destroy my stats. I purposely go 2-46, killing myself repeatedly, bringing my KD down to 0.54. The next lobby I get into is full of low-level players. Only one player in this game is prestige. This, to me, is the most anecdotal proof of skill-based matchmaking, because Sledgehammer also conveniently left out a lobby leaderboard function, so I can't compare on KD alone. But you could clearly see, the better KD I get, the better the rank of the players I face, versus when I bring my KD down, I get stuck with the fucking window lickers. Additionally, check out the fucking lag in some of these clips. It's obvious when you don't have latency as your sole or even primary filter for matchmaking. And what about those dedicated servers? Well, I guess that was bullshit too. Although Activision did say, quote, Advanced Warfare employs game servers hosted at data centers globally on all platforms and listen servers as part of our proprietary matchmaking system. When they say data centers globally, they mean different players hosting the fucking game around the world on a peer-to-peer system, right? Anyways, I hear a lot of arguments about how Pub Stompers should just get over it and start playing against good kids instead of the fucking people that are chewing on their controllers. But there already is a ranked playlist in the game where people can measure their edicts for stats. If I don't choose to play on the ranked playlist, why should my stats or level factor into the matchmaking in a public setting? It's simply not appropriate to have on that particular playlist. It's simply fucking stupid to have 2 different playlists, one for ranked, one for unranked, but yet they are still both based on fucking stats. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Not to mention, the fact remains that you can't get gameplays that you see on YouTube against good players. It just doesn't fucking happen. You need bad players to get those high-scoring games, and since that is a fact of life, I guarantee the return of reverse boosting that will happen as a result of this as well. I don't mind playing against good players. In fact, that's the only way you'll get better. Not by watching all these stupid fucking class setup videos or tips and tricks videos. And I'm pretty sure that most people don't mind playing against good players every once in a while either. They just don't want to play good players all the fucking time. However, I will advocate for the removal of skill-based matchmaking simply because it makes the connections on the whole much, much better. I'm hoping that with this first patch, they fix their algorithm like what Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2 did, because the first month of both of those games just had awful lag and connection problems and the games are barely playable. The Hammer will definitely let you all know what's in the patch once it goes live. Not only is it a fucking disgrace that we still do not have dedicated servers, even though I proved in a previous episode of Zombie Lies that it's possible, but we've got a broken matchmaking algorithm that didn't work 2 years ago. Why the fuck would Sledgehammer Games think it would be better this time around? I guess lightning does strike twice if you're stupid enough to stand out in a storm with a fucking metal pole sticking up towards the sky.